SportsBeat is brought to you by Ken Garth. We hear you.
Look out.
You know, it was a great experience.
I talked to Magic, and he said, hey, everybody in this room been scared the first time.
If you are reading this letter, it's because you are now an all-star.
Is this the best thing that's ever happened to you as far as your career?
No.
The most fun thing?
Well, no. My honeymoon was a lot of fun. All right. But next to that, it was good.
Frank Layden is the best, a legend. So many great memories from All-Star games past. Thanks for watching SportsBeat on this Super Bowl weekend. We'll look back on 54 years of locals in the Super Bowl and check in with Tom Holmoe for the state of the BYU athletic program.
Yeah, also we're going to check in with Tony Finau, who was on fire today at the Phoenix Open, 18 holes away from potentially his second ever win on the PGA Tour.
That would be pretty cool. But we'll begin with the NBA, as you just saw, and the biggest local story of the week. The wait is over. Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell are officially All-Stars.
Yeah, the announcement made on Thursday, and with that, they become the 12th and 13th All-Stars in Jazz franchise history.
Starting with Donovan, he beat out Phoenix Suns star Devin Booker at the guard spot. For the Western Conference All-Star team, he's averaging a career-best 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. He's 13th in the NBA in scoring. And he has 14 games with 30 or more points in a game this season. He's the first player since LeBron James to total more than 4,500 points, 800 rebounds, and 800 assists in his first 200 games, joining LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Allen Iverson, and Michael Jordan as the last 5 to do so. He's certainly deserving.
How about Rudy Gobert? Not only has he built an all-star resume this season, but he's on the path to a historic season in the NBA. You see the numbers right there on the screen. He's averaging nearly 16 points per game, 14.5 rebounds per game, and he's shooting 69% from the field. Only one other player has had a season of 15, 14, and 65% in a single season. That happened 53 years ago. Who was it? Wilt Chamberlain. Rudy Gobert also is the only player in the NBA ranked top 10 in both offensive and defensive rating. All-star.
No doubt. This marks the first time that the Jazz have had 2 players named All-Stars in the same season since 2007, when Carlos Boozer and Mehmet Okur were named All-Stars. Booz, of course, did not play that year due to injury. Memo scored 4 points on 2 of 2 shooting in 14 minutes of play.
Now, the last time 2 Jazz players actually played in the All-Star game together, that was in the year 2000. None other than John Stockton and Karl Malone. Malone played only 3 minutes in the game, took 1 shot, didn't make it. Stockton saw 11 minutes of action, though. He made all 5 shots that he took for 10 points, and he dished out 2 assists.
Utah Jazz will try to end a 3-game losing streak tonight in Portland as they take on Damian Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers. Don't let the Blazers record fool you. They'll be a tough test tonight, especially the way Dame is playing right now. The focus in L.A. last night was on the Lakers. First game at the Staples Center since the death of Kobe Bryant. As for the game, the best player on the floor was Damian Lillard. That's really saying a lot, considering Anthony Davis and LeBron James play for the Lakers. But Dame was sensational. That hammer dunk over 3 Lakers, and then he continues to bury 30-footers like they're 10-foot jumpers. He scored 48 points on 17 of 30 shooting, 7 threes, also 6 boards and 5 assists in the Blazers' 127-119 win.
The one thing that we know for sure we had in common with Kobe is the love of this game.
Legend has done in his last 5 games is remarkable. After scoring 34 in back-to-back games, he scored 61, 47, 50, 36, and now 48 in his last 5 games. That's insane. He had his first career triple-double in a win over the Rockets on Wednesday. He set an NBA record with 40 made threes in a 5-game span. He also is the first player in NBA history with 35-plus points, 5-plus rebounds, 5-plus assists, and 5-plus threes in 5 straight games. Just an unreal tear. He was also named to his 5th All-Star team on Thursday. How's that for a week?
I'd say pretty darn good. Well, Mike Conley, he made his return from injury about 2 weeks ago with the Utah Jazz. Now he's about to make his return to the starting lineup as the Jazz look for their first win this week. They're looking for some kind of a spark. Maybe he'll bring it. He'll replace Royce O'Neal in that lineup. Since returning from injury, Conley has played the last 6 games as one of the first players off the bench, in which he played only 17 minutes per game during that stretch, shooting 44% from the field. The last time Conley came off the bench in a game was in 2009, so you'd assume he's more comfortable in a starting role.
Clark
Jackson, it's a transition three, and he buries it. And here comes Utah.
That's a guy who must feel very comfortable coming off the bench for the Jazz. Jordan Clarkson almost single-handedly brought the Jazz back on Thursday night against the Nuggets. Clarkson became the third Jazz player to score more than 30 in a game this season, with 37 in that game. 24 of those points came in the fourth quarter. Donovan Mitchell, on the other hand, well, he had points to force out his career. He was held scoreless through the first three quarters against the Nuggets and made just one field goal on 12 attempts. Finished the game with just 4 points, his lowest point total since scoring 3 against the Blazers in December of last season.
All right, now to the NBA this afternoon. Clippers hosting the Timberwolves. First time Kawhi and Paul George have played together since January 2nd. Kawhi Leonard killing those pesky T-Wolves with a step-back three. Led the Clippers with 31 points, 4 of 9 from 3. Now, Karl Anthony Towns left off the All-Star roster. He played inspired today, 32 points, including that poster. But the Clippers at full strength are tough to beat. Paul George, 21, and back at full strength, Clippers get the win.
On the heels of this 3-game skid that the Jazz have, they've dropped from 2nd to 4th in the Western Conference, 4.5 games behind the Lakers for the top spot. Still, though, you look at it there's just 1.5 games that separate the Jazz, Clips, and Nuggets for that 2nd and 4th position.
There's going to be a year where we don't have injuries, and we're going to blast it out. And I'm going to be really glad that we had a schedule like that, because we'll finish up really strong.
Tom Holmoe speaks. Hear what the BYU athletic director had to say about their new TV agreement, as well as the tough schedule.
And what are they feeding high school basketball players these days? We have video of several doing incredible things. Dunks and buzzer beaters next.
Well, it's not often that we get to hear from BYU Athletic Director Tom Holmoe in a media setting. This past week, he invited members of the media down to Provo, where he discussed several topics surrounding the athletic programs at the Y. Of course, football was at the forefront of it all. Holmoe announced that BYU had agreed to a new media rights contract with ESPN, a deal that will keep a majority of BYU home football games on the ESPN family of networks through the 2026 season. Holmoe said they had options to shop with other major broadcast networks, but still feels that their partnership with ESPN is vital to their survival and success in independence.
Well, you can't do it without it. Absolutely. There's no way. And people say maybe you could have gone with, could you have gone with another broadcast company? Yeah, sure. People are able to do amazing things now in broadcast, but we wanted to do it with ESPN. ESPN was, is the sports leader.
Holmoe also reiterated his feeling that independence is still the best route for BYU football. And with a schedule like the one they have this coming fall, it's hard to argue. That schedule was officially announced last week with games against 6 Power 5 schools, along with Houston, Boise State, and San Diego State. But when you have a year like last season with a lot of injuries, should he tame down the scheduling?
There's going to be a year where we don't have injuries, and we're going to blast it out. And I'm going to be really glad that we had a schedule like that, because we'll finish up really strong. And I don't do scheduling based on what could go wrong. I do scheduling based on what could go right. And that's where my vision is right now.
The new agreement with ESPN also comes with 3 bowl games owned and operated by ESPN in the years 2020, 22, and 24. In a separate agreement, BYU announced a deal with the Independence Bowl for 2021, 23, and 25, but there's some flexibility with that one.
It could turn into 2. Could have a release out of one of those. It's an option that's in the contract if the Cheez-It Bowl in Arizona is available. And that would mean that one of the teams from the affiliations or one of the conferences wouldn't be able to fulfill it.
In BYU news continuing, former Cougar hoopster and Lone Peak Knight Eric Mika is now an NBA player. Mika has signed a 10-day contract with the Sacramento Kings. Mika has averaged 19.6 points and 14 rebounds per game through 13 games in the G League this year.
All right, now to high school hoops. This was a fun week. Buzzer beaters and hammer dunks, and we start in Smithfield.
Skyview and Bear River, they met in the 2019 4A state championship game, with Skyview coming away with the title. The Bobcats look to be the favorite once again.
Especially after the way they played on Friday. Skyview turned this game into a dunk contest, so we'll treat it like one, Sam. This is our first contestant, Mason Falslip, the future running Ute. What do you think of this dunk?
Well, the guy's got some hops. There's no doubt about it. You know, if he got maybe a couple more inches, he can do the cookie jar thing like Vince Carter, right? Come on.
Now we're really getting picky. All right, let's go to our next contestant. Bracken Schumann, 6'7" big man. That's his first entry, Sam. Pretty good, huh?
I like that.
He's got some power. Here's his second one. Running in the lane, huh?
Yeah, I like the power dunks there. Going up with 2 hands, putting it down, yeah. I see where the strength's coming from. Flexing some muscle there.
All right, I think we're going to go to our winner here, though. Let's go to Sam Phipps. He had 3 dunks to choose from. Here's number 1.
Oh, my.
Jeez, he was way out there. Here comes number 2. All right, this is simple, this 2-hand hammer, but this one was special. Off 2 feet off the putback there. Pretty nice.
The guy is definitely athletic, and you can tell why. His name's Sam, you know?
Okay. Is that why we did this segment?
No. I mean, hey.
Skyview won the game, 89-57.
How about Skyridge and Corner Canyon? In the 3rd quarter, Skyridge was down 2. When Kai Roberts, he shows that he can get up and throw down as well with the one-hander, tying the game up at 30. Corner Canyon starts building a comfortable lead. Max Toombs out in front for the and 1. Skyridge did have a last-second chance to tie this one, down by 3, but not a chance there. Chargers get the win.
Bountiful trying to stay on top in Region 5, hosting Box Elder. Robert Whaley. The steal, and I think we know how this ends. Hammer dunk. Bountiful led by as many as 21. Box Elder made a run. Parker Buchanan cut the lead to 10 in the 4th quarter with that dunk. But that was as close as they got. Bountiful gets the win, 56-40.
I like these highlights. Brighton at East, 4th quarter. Leopards down 1. Brennan Hall leans in. He's going to get the 2 and the lead, 35-34. Now with 15 seconds left, Brighton down 1. The inbounds pass to Josh Peterson, and he draws the foul. Bengals take the lead after the missed free throw. They're up by 1. So 4 seconds left. One last chance for East. Oh, but they turn it over. Brighton gets the win, 38-37.
We love game-winning buzzer beaters. This was Tuesday. Orem trails Lehigh by 2 in overtime. Taft Mitchell for the win. Kills glass. His prayers answered. Orem gets a big road win in dramatic fashion.
Well, they're back for a 3rd season. Great news for pro rugby fans. We'll hear from the new Warriors head coach coming up next. The Utah Warriors are starting their 3rd season in Major League Rugby, but this season, they'll be doing it with a new head coach. During their media day Friday at Silicon Slopes, Warriors GM Kimball Kerr introduced the Aussie national team legend, who hopes to bring the Warriors a winning season and to bring the sport more exposure in the state of Utah.
Our goal is to be the epicenter of rugby for North America. And we believe that we've moved another couple steps in that direction with this offseason, with some of the new players, the new coaches that we've signed, and the new coaches that we have on the staff. Here in America, so many haven't heard of the game rugby. It's pretty much the speed of soccer. It has the tactics of NFL and the hits of NFL, but without the helmets and without the protective gear. So it is played by real men.
Rugby's such a great sport and so popular here in Utah. Let's hope the Warriors have success this season. We'll be right back.
It's a lot of fun tonight. Hey, big game tonight with the Jazz and Blazers. And
this is one I feel like the Jazz have to win, which is strange, but it's just because it's a 3-game losing streak. And the way the team's playing, this just doesn't feel like a situation where it needs to continue, because if it does, I think they're going to lose some momentum and some confidence, but we'll see what they can pull off that game. But Damian Lillard is playing so good right now.
Ridiculously out of it. I mean, if he continues at this trajectory, obviously that puts Portland in the playoff picture and maybe puts him in MVP discussions as well.
He's got a long way to go. They're like 22 and 27.
They do, but
which is crazy.
Win streak can get them there, right?
Yeah, it could. So, yeah, we'll see if the Jazz can get back on track. Also, some college hoops tonight as well. Lots of games going on.
Yeah, BYU St. Mary's, of course, that's going to be a big one in Provo. And Utah State at San Diego State. Can they do it?
Yeah, and Utah State is in a situation where they need to get back on the bubble. And so a win over San Diego State could put them squarely back there.
That would definitely generate a lot of momentum.
All right, we'll see if they can get it done tonight. Join Sam later tonight. 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock it is.
All right, we'll see you then.